I think I'm back. Unfortunate that it decided to do it again just like last Friday. I don't understand why that happens. But okay, whatever, we're back. I'm okay. I'm annoyed, but I'm okay. Okay, I'm going to... Oh no, I didn't want to open this. I wanted to back out. I wanted to move back to Cosmo's cabin. And see if that... It's not going to reveal anything, is it? Oh, I didn't want to hit move. It's not going... Nothing's going to... Oh. Oh. So this ventilator joins Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Cosmo saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes. I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but... There was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Do I need to go back again? All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh, yes. And you tidied them up, didn't you? You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Did Miss Pavlova's little friend do that, though? These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. So by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. She called her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. A friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. I think so too. So I guess we have to go back. Oh, and I hear one of my animal friends crying. It's not Callie or Sora. Maybe it's the passage way? Oh! Hello! Oh! It's Mr. Sholmes, look! Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. That's what the singing was earlier. Tra-la-la-la-leer-li-la-la-lay, I did the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, It's lucky your luck was about. What is this? Excuse me? I solved it all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! What is it, you want to fight, Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop. So I figured now is as good a time as any. Please stop acting like you're gonna punch me in the face. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh, yes, the ship's log. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... Oh, he's laughing. You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been early blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in the first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Is he gatekeeper? Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely! Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes. There were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribbling nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes Sholmes. Brilliance! Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. You too? Well, my friends, until our next encounter. Okay. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Please don't make me sing again. I only sing when I'm in the car. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Sorry. Ever since I woke up this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Were they all drugged? Oh, you too? They were all drugged, weren't they? Go back to Kazuma's cabin and see if there's anything here. I'm betting no. Did they drug us? Back in here. Oh, Oh, why? Whoa, whoa. Huh, what's that? Oh dear. That's not good. That's not good. Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter-mile forward. What? Full stop. Hard disturber. All hands brace for impact. What's happening? What the? Oh, I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? Oh dear. I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. What's happening? Oh no. Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. Oh dear, this explains the books. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think... Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Oh. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly! What? The bolt? It went back. Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I'd better tidy this place up first. Why? Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Was it just an accident? Was Kazuma's death just an accident? Yes, save again, I suppose. It's only been about 45 minutes. I say only. This game has long cases. This is only the second one. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. Oh, they're both here. You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine. Thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. Crew are running everywhere. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Well, one of the people is dead. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? Ah! You wicked intruder! Dressed all in black, you are the devil! Sorry, me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case, how could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector! Yes? Arrest this man! I knew he did it! He's a criminal! Is it not enough that he's killed a man? Da! And he's a stowaway as well! If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Ugh. Take him away! He is a trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She's right, you're a devil. Jeez, doesn't look good, does it? There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to Willis. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately! What do you mean? What? What do I do? Do I talk to someone? Why is everything now acting like I can check it again? Just need to keep calm and focus on the task at hand, which is investigating. Don't touch my things! You want me to show you where crawfish hibernates? Oh! What? Susato? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think you're doing? Wow, everyone's attacking me! And I was just starting to think she was my friend. We're not friends at the moment, I don't think. Is there anyone who can help me out of this mess? I mean, oh, there he is. There he is. What the... What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Why is he wearing the tiara? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy, oh no no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend to that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Neither do I. Ah, you again. The great detective. Ah, Inspector! I confess I've been looking for you. Do I have something to report to you most urgently? Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than the hook on the wall next time. What is to report? Speak! An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night, here on this vessel, the steamship Borea, has been solved. By me, naturally. What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all the other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I'm about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Is this another dance of deduction? Ha! You have solved it? Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing student boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. Ooh, my words. It is the stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it! The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door is bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Da! Locked room! That is point! The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You are all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin, despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The girl. The ventilator man. The ventilator? Ha ha! You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arms is as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Oh, excuse me. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Cosmo-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m., I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m., what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madame. But what does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Was it Pat Collar? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all will shock you to your cores. Behold! Oh, what the? It's a snake?! Okay. That explains that little opening cutscene. Allow me to introduce you all to the band. The speckled band. A snake? Indubitably. That's her. Is that her pet? I am just as shocked as everyone else. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? I'm so confused. You both see and observe, with distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. The whole thing is nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one, last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asugi? It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. Why is he letting it stay coiled around his head? I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present His logic and reasoning spectacular. We get to do another one! I'm concerned, though. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She was looking at her hand. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. I don't know if that's true, since she had a question mark, and yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sign that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? Something she has? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake-slothed skin. Huh. Evidently, after the subtle and horrid crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin, no? I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it slows its skin. Slogs? A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. She's not from India, though. Why does he get the countries so wrong? Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. A grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I've been appraised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by terrible venom. No. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. No, it won't. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense! It really doesn't. There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid evidence that links you to the victim's death on the traveling case. The traveling case is empty. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you used to train your serpent friend. To... train? Indeed, you'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you would release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true! Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt my logic is infallible. And now I have to prove him wrong. Oh, he's killing my voice. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Oh, he's so eccentric. I love him. But... yeah. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you'll observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible! You've solved the mystery! No, he didn't. Amazing! Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Sherlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, well, I could have done it with one left hand. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course. What's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly. I'm sure you will. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madame. And reptiles, don't drink milk. Ah. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter! No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. Logical. Well, here's something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling. But madame, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There is one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat belt cord like the ones in these cabins. Then it should try harder. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult, to imagine the snake could have had any part in this. Oh, he's sad. Oh, Susato made Sholmes sad. Oh. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? You're free! Run for it! You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone. Where did they go? Fear not. I shall see them restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Featuring Naruhodo and Susato. So, oh, dear, ow. Claim the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazumi-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Well, she's kind of looking at... Oh, she has scratches on her hand. She is a cat.
Yes, yes!
That's what she is hiding. It's a cat. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova. Oh, Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch? Sometime last night. When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. Hello, how are you? So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? I think she has a cat that she was hiding the whole time. My naturally was the friend in which she boarded this vessel, was it not? Oh, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Oh no, what happened? Is it still the work thing? Or is it something else? Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent. No, it's not. It's not the snake. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except... snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm enjoying this game. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze, Naruhodo-san. That's where we'll find the answer. There's so many people, my throat hurts. Where was her gaze going? Oh, the picture, the picture, the picture. Oh, I didn't mean to hit A, but... Oh! She's... It's a black cat! Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, That's true, but personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Look at him! Oh no, his bell! Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Look at the baby!
Yes!
Oops! I should have hit A, but oh well. Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, that scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? I love it. His name's Darka. Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Her. Oh, it's a her. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. No, because it's a beautiful black cat. Unless it turns out to be a blue cat when I show it. What explanation can we give then, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? The collar? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Or is it just a scarf? Yes, that which you are trying, but failing to conceal, can only be the snake sloth's skin. Do you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known. Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Shulman's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought deduction was his specialty. You're making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? Excuse me. Is it just a scarf? Well, it is speckled, and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy, like a long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end. It's a toy! It's a cat toy. I think it might be a cat's toy. This is sort of common in the West, apparently. How is that toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it, and it's friggin' adorable. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them. They pounce to catch it. Sora, if I pull it high enough in the air, he jumps after it and claps his paws together to try and grab it. Ah, it's so cute. That's positively adorable. Yes, it is.
Yes!
Yes, that thing you are trying but failing to conceal, that is, a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume? Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. Oh, my throat's dry. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Oh. A truly troublesome feline, young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Kazuma didn't notice? Darka, she's so naughty. How did Kazuma not notice a kitten just pouncing into his room, and it has a bell on it? Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. I love this dance of deduction thing, it's so fun. How did this young man lose his life? And why? According to the data of which I've been appraised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstance of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. That's incorrect. What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body. That's right. But Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. It's the post-mortem report.
Yes, yes.
In fact, the circumstance of the victim's death can only be explained in a post-mortem report. Look at that smirk on his face. Oh, it's killing me. Well, yes, I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Strognow isn't some immortal freak, you know. He makes the same face Phoenix does. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. And yes, there is a piece. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. No, it won't. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though. Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh, yes. A bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? I do believe this picture does. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results, the undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Miss Asugi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Osogi must have caught his foot at the point on the floor and tripped. Please, no. And, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, he caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life. No! I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Osogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. And if this part of Mr. Sholm's deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. It's not the tiara, is it? No. Ah, somebody appears to have dropped 20,000 rubles here. It hasn't been dropped, Naruhodo-san. It's been placed. I'm starting to sound like Mr. Sholmes. Stop trying to sound like the great detective. The traveling case is empty. So is it the waste paper basket? This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, there it is. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Yes!
Yeah. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asugi's cabin. And, as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? Oh. You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know, and that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that would be the picture.
Yes, yes!
If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has words. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. I didn't mean to roll my R, but the young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend, Darka. is a cute name for a cat. Where is the cat, though? Please don't tell me they're going to try and arrest the cat. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Don't tell me they're gonna try and arrest the cat and throw it into the cell. Please don't. Oh, he tripped over the cat. That would make sense. Fiona slammed into me when I went outside yesterday to grab a package and almost knocked me over into the fence. Luckily, none of them, ran into me when I was grabbing my end figure today. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. This is wild! It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. Oh, yes, they do. Very much so. She was so fast, and she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired that rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it? Yes. And I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Oh no, what game? Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back in? Again? By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Ooh, a comeback victory. Ooh, what are you playing? Oh, Duel Links. Ooh. Oh, good luck. What character are you trying to unlock? I haven't played that in years. Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Cosima wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Oh, Duke Devlin. Oh, good luck. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Oh, yeah. When we brought Sora and Callie home... Oh, yeah, his friend that got killed. Apparently, 'twas an accident and he tripped over a cat. But when we brought Sora and Callie home, Callie hid under my dad's recliner, and Sora hid under our yet-to-be connected dishwasher, to the point that we had to pull the dishwasher out of its hole and get him out. The poor baby. They were both scared, but now they love it here. Sora's a good little baby. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... Oh, that's... Oh. Oh. I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Yes, she actually does. She walks in when my door is open and she says hello and lets me pet her. And she lets me pick her up and hug her. It's wild. Sora just lets me pick him up and baby him. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Cosimo was... Yes, she purrs. It's so cute. Sora, when he purrs, it's so loud. He's a loud boy. From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping. She bonded to me, and I feel terrible because she's supposed to be my dad's cat. The SS Borea is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asugi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of the unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. Oh, I feel so bad. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she's disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Oh, scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? And where did it come from? A fabulous question. Oh, it is his. It's his snake, isn't it? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing aboard this ship? Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is... Whoa! Pirosko? I don't know Russian. What? What? That snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without a close friend? Without someone who understands? Can't you find someone a little more human who understands you better? But, my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in? No venom. Pirosko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long, but very gentle. He's adorable, like Granny. It's venomless? Yes. Now he is hungry. So he is in Batabuta, but once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say they milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Piroskom eats mice. Eats mouses. Big fat round mouses. Ah. Oh, so... Is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. Sholmes, you okay? It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a milk cord. It's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a stuttering roll? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. Oh, really? My Pirosko has nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. It was just an accident. Nobody maliciously attacked and killed Kazuma. He tripped on a glass bell. Miss Pavlova? I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikotaba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events. An accident. Oh dear. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? What? To be perfectly honest, yes. Oh! The writing! There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. No, it's the writing that's on the floor, because it's in Russian and Kazuma was Japanese. He didn't know Russian. I confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh. I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ah, you piece of trash. Ah, not again. When did he do that? Especially as they are on your wrists as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were Mr. Sholmes. Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Oh, okay. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent! Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes! Begin what? What we should ponder first, I thought they were about to tell us to be continued, is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident. Oh. Wait! Let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. It has to be this, right?
Yes!
The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. That's script. It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is! The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native tongue. Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. That doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There is no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Ah. Hey, and it's not like this is case 2 of the first Ace Attorney game where Miles made them do another autopsy and they decided to come back and say almost instantly. This is instant. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't have possibly written anything. Because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly been there if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What? So, Susato-san nosed it too then. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words... Is it this with the bell?
Yes! Yes!
This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the kitten and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Ah. Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth. In order to cover up his or her own guilt. Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Asogi's. Oh, hello. You are wasting time! Someone else was there? Duh, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh, yes. And the only other person... Oh, jeez. And only other person in cabin when young student died was you.
Yes!
Well, yes. It's true I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I would have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left the message. To be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor. In an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asuki really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder then the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you? Oh dear. Seaman Stroganoff. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on the ship, a member of ship's band. Oh really? Interesting. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. Ah, so that's it. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until I said it just now, and I was like, oh my gosh. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible, I give my tooth. Well, this is almost interesting. Yes, and confusing. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective, you should know. Look through the eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Unless it was unlocked first. Excuse me. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Yet, it's impossible. Ugh, he's right. But wait! I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches, so they can open and close them from the outside. Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not modern doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, not a gap in sight. No threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No. No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so... So-san, how could you shift the blame onto me like that? So Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door. Without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind having been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have! So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. Why does nothing line up? I mean, this kind of proves it, doesn't it? Look at the bookcase there. Yep. See how all the books and things have toppled over? That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel, after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe, yes, it's what's known as the Force of Inertia, acting on the objects. Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. bolt on the cabin door. Ah! It's very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Oh, yes! That's it! When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across the locked door. Yes! It's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's change of speed. Or the Force of Inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Asugi was killed... Yes. Yep. Yeah. That's the only explanation. The SS Buria made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh, yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asugi's cabin. Oh my! Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Buria made an emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room? No, she pulled the bell! To make it stop. Oh, it's simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm. Oh, yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Oh, wait! It was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today. Did he push the button? Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He's like a child. He almost sounds proud of himself. How dare you mess with sheep? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asugi, did the ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You are idiots! Baria is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make an emergency stop, even in the middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. I mean, that's fair, since they're kind of being real jerks about the whole thing. I really hope that you find a better place real fast, though. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating! Do show us, my good man! What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night? Oh dear me. It's not this. Is it the log?
Yes!
Seaman Strognoff. It's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? Duh! That is correct. Why? And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine! Ah, you rather carelessly left at the top that little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with the mind to return to you later. I left it to there on purpose. That is where I always put it. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase, "nothing to report," every 30 minutes. He's just like Gatekeeper-san. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? I was really hoping to be done with this by 9:30 so I could go to bed, but it's fine. I'll go to bed afterwards. That is, duh, because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write, "nothing to report," wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Burya. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish! If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh? Why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. Unless everybody was drugged, which is what I keep thinking. What of the throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Ah. Oh, yes. I have had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today, too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Probably because you were drugged. Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Ah, well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that we served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact. I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No. Really? Is that really true? That meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific? Designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. I don't know how to read. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Soporific. So I said it right the first time. Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes? Well, Seaman. It was to get her on board, wasn't it? I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over the coals. For aiding and abetting a renegade. Dang, when he chills out and actually thinks about things, he's actually pretty smart. Please, no more. I will tell everything. Ugh. I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help. Everyone together. She threw away everything. Our fame in the ballet. Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. Don't you think that's when you stop? Ugh, we could not make all drug. How do you say, dissolve? Ugh, talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight, in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with a small fishing boat. While all the passengers of the SS Borea slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who dislike chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. That means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosmo's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Ah, of course! Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins. After which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite! And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes. Shiny Nicket? Yay! I still need one of those. The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep in with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. Oh, do you have a luxury ball? A luxury ball would match it. I think on my birthday we're gonna do Dynamax Adventures for a little while. Ow, my hair. I need to brush my hair. You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Aww. I don't know, what kind of Pokeballs you got? Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. Yeah, I wouldn't waste those. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know about any of this. I am just a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am a sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories, and we won't believe. Sailors like me, we only trust what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind? What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No, you must hear it with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? Dusk Ball, Moon Ball, Normal Ball, Timer Ball, Repeat, Friend, Lore Level, Master, Dream, Beast. You could try a Beast Ball? Or maybe a Level Ball. I can't remember what a Level Ball looks like. Or a Premier Ball. Believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. Oh my gosh. No! I can't. I can't tonight. I'm sorry. I cannot. It's been 2.5 hours. Granted, there was a small break because my internet cut out. I can't tonight. It has... I'm so upset. Oh, very nice! Yay! I can't finish this tonight. I have to finish it next week. Next Monday, I will finish this case, and hopefully we will finally start the third case. And yes, I did jump into the second game because I'm dumb. Oh my gosh. It's a her? Ooh. Ooh, I don't know. I'm not good at getting names. I'm not good at picking names. Don't. You could name her Darka after the cat from this, even though we haven't actually seen the cat. Mm. But no, I'm not very good at names. I normally pick anime names. You could name her Sarada. Or Darka, or whatever. La Brava. La Brava. Gentle criminal in La Brava. Oh, jeez. I can't believe how long these cases are. This is the third stream for case 2. And I'm still not done. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay. Well, anyway. Next Monday I'll finish this. Gentle and La Brava? No, I loved them. Next Monday is going to be the end of this case and hopefully the start of 3. I don't know what happens in cases 3 through 4, like, at all. I am wondering when we get to see our very attractive prosecutor. I assume case 3. I thought he would be in this case, but apparently not. And we're doing all of this on board a ship. Oh man, my eyes are getting a little blurry. But Wednesday, I'm gonna do Stardew, probably around the same time. Because I need to make progress. Yes, that is correct. They were decent. They both just kind of ended up down the wrong path. And then Friday, yes, Von Zeeks. I want to see him, but it's going to be a little bit longer, it seems. Friday, I'm back to Neo, The World Ends With You, and hopefully it doesn't cut out during that. And then Sunday, I'm going to the My Hero movie at 2:15, and then I'll come home and I'll stream the Animal Crossing Halloween event. I'm gathering candy. I'm buying candy every day when I log in. And then I opened up New Leaf for the first time in over a year today and felt real bad. But make sure again that I saved. Anyway, thanks for hanging out tonight. So Wednesday about 7:30-ish for Stardew. And yeah, the first name I suggested was Darka. Like the black cat in this. I mean, I assume the cat's black. The photo's black and white, but he said it's a Russian blue, so I don't know. But you know, for some reason, in every single Ace Attorney game, the pictures are all black and white, not in color. Whatever. It's fun anyway. I like this game. I enjoyed it, so yeah. I'll be back on Wednesday. So have a good night. I'll be in Discord. And then we'll come back to this next week and Stardew on Wednesday. Oh, she's marked! Ooh, nice! Very nice. That's a good way to end the night. So good night. Have a good night.